how do you, at this point, you guys won another game, you move on, you got a home game this week, and people start talking about the future and what could happen if you continue to win. How do you focus on 1 week and not look at rankings or potential projections or anything like that?
Well, I think the coaches do a great job of emphasizing a 1-game season. You know what I mean? We always focus on the next opponent. I mean, as you may know, if you look down the line and you're not focused on the present, the results that you may want may not, come to fruition. So we do a great job of just, focusing on Cal for this week, what they're good at, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have an opportunity this Saturday to play a good football team, and we can't go play the rest of the teams, right, this Saturday. We play 1 game this Saturday against Cal. So, like Rene said, it's a 1-game season, and, coaches do a really good job, like Rene said, of, just hammering that home, and, all of our focus is on Cal this week.
Pete, it didn't seem like a big deal, or wasn't made a big deal at the time when Kiwan, he thought about going to Boise State and comes back here, but for you all, how big of a deal was that getting back, and now we're seeing with all the injuries you've had in that room and the season he's having so far, how much of an impact it's made?
Bama's a fantastic player, and it's awesome, right, we're able to get him back here home to Louisville, and he's just doing a good job. He's been trusting the process, and has really just embraced, his role, and obviously he's stepped up in a huge way for us, and, he's been the player that we all know he is. So it's just really good to see him just doing good out there.
Rene, I know defensive linemen love to get sacks and tackles for loss and all that stuff. This team's 2 leading pass breakup, 2 leaders in pass breakups on defensive line. What happened? How good does that feel when you bat a pass away?
It definitely feels good, you know what I mean? But, we are hoping to get sacks and our pass deflections. But, coaching does a great job of telling us if you can't get to the quarterback, at least put your hands up and, hopefully make a play out of it. It's been working for us, thankfully. So.
Rene, how much you've already watched of Cal, but what do you see with their offense, and specifically that young quarterback, he can really throw it?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the quarterback is very talented. You know what I mean? He seems one of the better, freshman quarterbacks in the country, and I believe it just watching the film. He has a great arm. Receivers are dynamic, so it's gonna be about, just basically executing Coach English's game plan, and then from there, maximize our chances to win.
For both of you, Coach said at halftime up in Blacksburg, the heads might have been down a little bit in the locker room, but you guys came out and had your 4th comeback. What's that say about the mentality on both sides of the ball of this team to be able to continually come back in games like that?
Yeah, I don't know how much our heads were down. Obviously, we were a little disappointed the way we played, but we're a gritty team. This team's going to fight. I wouldn't want to go play with anyone else on Saturdays just because how tough this team is, and we're true competitors. We want to go win a game. So, we might be up by 20, down by 20. We're going to fight to the end and find a way to win the game.
And also add to that, the coaches do a great job of adjusting game plans too at halftime. You know what I mean? The quarterback run hurt us kind of early in the game, but then it wasn't effective at all in the second half. I think Coach English, put forth the right calls to make, and that definitely helped us in the win on Saturday.
Pete, Coach said that Nygra might be out for an extended period of time. Obviously, he's a difference maker for you guys, but describe your level of confidence in that room. I mean, we saw a lot of the younger guys early in the season, and they can run too. You got a deep bench.
Yeah, we have a deep running back room this year. Those guys are fantastic. It's a very talented room, and they love to play football, and they're good at what they do. So, Duke, Bama, even Braxton, they're going to come in and they're going to do, a great job, and, just help us continue to win football games.
Rene, you just talked about the halftime adjustments, on the offensive side. Why do you think you guys have been able to be a little more successful in the second half of the last few weeks? It's kind of the same thing with adjustments. What do you just seen from the offense in the second half that maybe isn't showing up as much in the first half of games?
Oh, it's just us getting off to a fast start. Obviously, we had the early touchdown, and then, we kind of fell into a little bit of a funk, in the first half. And, that's what halftime's for, right? Make adjustments, kind of, reset the minds. And, we came out the second half, ready to play. So, if we could just, kind of eliminate the slow start, slow first half, then, we're going to be a really dangerous team moving forward.
Speaking of halftime, this is for either or both. Sometimes I guess a coach can be really fiery, sometimes he can shoot some, but sometimes in a positive way, sometimes in a negative way, sometimes maybe more calm and analytical. What is Jeff usually like it, and what was it Saturday?
Well,
Somebody take a first crack at it.
well, he's at first he could be a little calm, but he definitely gets fired up, as the speech goes on. You know what I mean? And I think he does a great job of just getting us ready for the second half. Him, Coach English, 'cause Coach English talks to the defense also. So I think, like you said, like he just gets us fired up. You know what I mean? He doesn't really chew us out, but at the same time he does. It's kind of the in-betweener. So.
Yeah, the coaches do a good job of being leaders and reading the room, right? They give us the message we need to hear, and they just get us ready to go play the second half, and that was obviously evident this past weekend.
Just going off of that, Q1 said in the O-line, a lot of guys, I guess, take a role in, igniting the sidelines, and the O-line specifically, a lot of you guys are the ones who rally the troops. How much pride, I guess, do you take in that, and what does it say about the O-line that they are able to be those leaders in those moments?
Yeah, we're a confident group of guys in ourselves, and we believe in ourselves, and we're a band of brothers. We truly go to war for each other and for this team, and any way that we can get the offense going, right, to ignite that spark, light that flame in order to get guys ready to go play. That's what we get joy out of, right? Is seeing the receivers score touchdowns, quarterbacks, Miller, throw touchdowns, and our running backs obviously run all over the defenses. So just getting them ready to go play, and then them executing is just brings us great joy.
Rene, Paul was asking about the batting balls. So it's one thing to bat a ball. Jordan got an interception as the defensive lineman. Are you jealous of that now and try to get one? Or, I mean, did you bat that one or did Clef?
It was Clef that batted. And, yeah, I'm a little jealous. I don't know if you guys remember, but Bowling Green, I could have caught one, and I dropped it. And so I got made fun of for a decent amount of time. And then once Jordan caught his, it got even worse. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting one, hopefully. You know what I mean? So just keep practicing, keep playing ball. So.
What's different about a night game here? You all got to experience it a couple weeks ago. Just kind of, how's the atmosphere different, and is the waiting around all day, does it make it harder?
I would say it makes it harder. We've both been playing football for a good amount of time. We played a decent amount of night games, and I think just the fans, just the energy that the fans bring during night games, like definitely gives you a little boost and not only energy but just mood. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna work in our favor, it being a night game, especially for me at least. So.
Yeah, I think we have one of the best fan bases in the country. And obviously they show up at night games and they make that L&N Stadium, it's loud, there's a lot of energy, and it's just fun to play in front of, so just delivering our best performance for those fans is everything.
Rene, for a defensive lineman, I want you to rate these in order of excitement or importance to you.
Okay.
A sack, forced fumble, fumble recovery, interception. One being the best.
I got definitely sack number one. You know what I mean? I think as a D lineman, you just salivate when you get a chance to get a sack. Second, probably I'll say forced fumble, interception, and lastly fumble recovery. I feel like fumble recovery is more so somebody else that caused the fumble, and then interception. They're cool and all, but I prefer sack definitely.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. Guys.